All right, so welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive in.
Awesome. So today we're going way back to ancient China.
Ooh, ancient China. Love it.
Yeah, I think you're going to like this one. It's a story about how the sun came to be. A myth, yeah. But
A myth with a lot to say, I bet.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about the sun itself. It kind of reveals, how the ancients thought about nature, heroes, all that.
Right. Like how they explained the world around them.
Exactly. And, maybe even gives us a little something to think about, like how we look at the environment today and stuff.
I'm intrigued. Let's hear it.
Okay, so picture this. 10 suns all up in the sky at once.
10 suns. That's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, just a tad. And we're not talking your average suns here. They're like these three-legged birds.
Three-legged birds. Okay, now that's just strange.
Right. They were called golden crows. And get this, each one was a son of the heavenly emperor.
Wow. So like a whole celestial family drama going on up there.
Exactly. So imagine the heat, right? Everything's scorched, rivers drying up, people are desperate.
Yeah, I can see why. That's got to be terrifying. Like a constant drought, basically.
Totally. And that fear of drought and famine, that was a very real thing for ancient civilizations.
Makes sense. It was their livelihood.
Right. And this whole thing with the emperor and his sons, it shows that belief in a celestial hierarchy,
Yeah.
like a reflection of their own society.
Yeah, I see that. The emperor at the top, controlling even the sun.
Exactly. Okay, so here's where our hero comes in, Hui. He's this amazing archer, almost superhuman, like the best there is.
Okay, so like a legendary warrior.
Totally. And he gets this super important task, save humanity from, this whole sun apocalypse thing.
No pressure, right.
Right. So he climbs Mount Kunlun, armed with his magical bow, and starts taking down these suns one by one.
Wow, talk about a showdown.
Yeah. Can you imagine that pressure? The fate of the world is resting on his shoulders.
It's like a classic hero's journey, It's that thing we always seem to need, someone who can rise up and face danger head on.
Totally. And what's so cool is it's not just about brute force. Hui, he's not destroying the sun completely. He's restoring balance, bringing it back to a level where life can actually exist.
Right. It's not about conquering nature. It's about living in harmony with it.
Exactly. And that really hits home, It makes you think about the choices we make today and how they affect the environment.
Absolutely. We might not be battling 10 suns with magical bows, but we have our own challenges, like climate change. It's a big one.
Yeah, for sure. And it kind of makes you wonder, what would those ancient folks think, seeing us deal with this today?
Interesting question. Would they see their myth reflected in our struggles?
Right. Like, would they offer any advice? Maybe a warning or two?
It makes you think. And this whole sun thing, it's not just a Chinese story. Think about the Greeks. They had Helios riding his chariot across the sky, bringing the sun with him.
Oh, yeah, Helios.
Yeah.
And the Egyptians had Ra, their sun god.
Exactly. So many cultures, so many stories about the sun. It shows how universal that fascination is.
Right. Like everyone looked up at the sky and was awestruck by the sun.
Makes sense. It gives us life, So powerful.
Totally. And the way they explained it through these stories, it really shows the power of storytelling itself.
It connects us to those who came before us.
Yeah. And to each other, no matter where we are in the world.
Exactly. The way we tell the stories might change over time, but those basic questions we're trying to answer, they stay the same.
Yeah. And in this story, it's all about humanity's relationship with nature. A pretty important question, especially now.
Couldn't agree more.
So, as we finish up our dive into this ancient myth, I think the biggest takeaway is this. We have the power to do both great good and great harm.
That's a powerful reminder. The choice, ultimately, is ours.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. And hey, if you're interested in exploring more myths from around the world, go for it. You might be surprised by what you find.
You never know what insights you might discover about yourself and our shared human story.
Absolutely. Until next time.